Hey guys, Eddie here, and today we're going to build a planer shaper workstation. This is my setup as it currently stands. Whenever I need either the shaper or the planer, I just lift it up, put it on the table, and start using it. I've recently been running into an issue with the shaper. If I have a piece that's 6 to 8 feet long, I'm not getting an accurate cut. And that's because there just isn't a lot of surface area for that lumber to go through when it's so long. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to lower this into the workstation such that this table is going to be flush with the workstation. So it's going to increase my surface area, and I can just send the pieces through and hopefully it'll be a much more accurate cut. Now with a planer and a joiner for that matter, you have a phenomenon called snipe. And what that is pretend that this can of varnish, or stain rather, is your cutter head. If you have a long piece of lumber that's got to go through here, it doesn't always go through perfectly flat. What happens is it goes through at an angle until it's able to flatten out. But at that point it hits the cutter head and makes a divot. And it'll go through fine, but towards the end you have just the opposite, where the piece of lumber will tend to drop. Again, forcing the lumber into the cutter head before it comes out. And what that does is it creates a divot on both sides, both ends of your lumber, and it's in the shape of the cutter head. So if I'm able to lower this such that this table is flush with the workstation, I could go in nice and flat and get rid of the snipe. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started on that now, and the first step is making the legs. Okay. Okay, now that we have the legs and the cross members cut to length, we're going to go ahead and assemble them. And for those of you who are interested in the dimensions, I'm going to have 2 tables on either side of the planer and shaper. Each table is going to be 36 by 24. Okay. Okay, so I think we're getting close. We have the two sides of we have the two tables here. We built them up. We laid some 3/4 inch plywood on top. There's a 24 by 24 inch gap in the middle, and I built up this table, which is 24 by 24. It's got another 3/4 inch piece of plywood on top. Right here I have these pieces of wood set, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this table. I'm going to rest them on top of the pieces of wood. Here's my high-tech measuring device, which is exactly as tall as the top of this shaper table. So what I'm going to do in theory is I'm going to place the table on top and then just bang it down right until it's nice and flush with the top here. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. What do you need it for?
I don't know. You want to find minerals.
Okay.
But they're cool. I mean, this is really cool.
It is really cool.
I mean, it feels like obsidian. I don't know what rock it is.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, you really only find obsidian in videos. Not like it.
Do you want this one or the one you have? This one's heavy. You don't want to drop this on your foot.
I think.
And you're going to need eye protection. Okay. Hang on.
Daddy. Thank you, Dad.
Do it outside, okay?
Thank you. Love you.
Love you.
I'm a scientist, baby.
You are a scientist.
Love you.
Love you.
Guys.
Okay, so we have this table installed between the two end tables. It's looking pretty decent, I gotta say. The table on my shaper is nice and flush with both sides here. When you're doing small stuff, it's not, you know, the shaper, you know, when it's a standalone, just, you know, on top of a bench, when you're doing the small stuff, it's fine, it's perfect. But when you're doing large pieces, say, you know, 6, 8 feet long, you know, I have a round over bit here, and, you know, oftentimes I want to round over all the edges on a long piece. There just isn't enough surface area for me to have an accurate cut because, you know, it's heavy, and, you know, you're not going into the blade perfectly square. So this is going to help out tremendously. This is going to be beautiful. So the next step is I'm going to put a couple of 2x4s along here, going the length of the workbench on both sides just to stiffen it up a little bit more. Again, these are two tables essentially joined by the bottom slat, so we need a little more strength here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to make another table to accommodate the planer. Okay. Okay, I've I've assembled another ledge. I didn't go through the video of me making the ledge. It's 2x4. It's a square 24 by 24 made of 2x4s, a 3/4 inch plywood on the top. I think you know how to do that. So I'm not going to bore you with it. Anyway, I built up another ledge, and I have it resting on these blocks that are in place with these clamps. And just like I did with the shaper ledge, for the planer ledge, I'm just going to hammer down until this, which is my high-tech measuring device, is flush with the top of the table here. I already did one side, so I'm going to go ahead and screw this side in, and then I'm just going to go around and make sure that all four corners are nice and flush. Okay guys, I think we're done. As you can see, my planer is sitting on top of this ledge here. The outfeed table is nice and flush with the right hand side table, and the infeed table also is nice and flush with the left hand side table. It's exactly what I wanted. I mentioned to you before, the reason why I wanted a station like this is because a lot of times I'm sending long 2x4s like this through the planer. And now it's nice and flat, and hopefully because of that there won't be any snipe when I'm sending pieces through the planer. So this is great. Really pleased. And also, when I'm not using a planer, I'm just going to keep this ledge in place and just use the table as a workbench, or not a workbench, but a table. I could use it for assembly, glue ups, whatever the case is. Even use my circular saw right here in the middle part without worrying about cutting anything. It'll be great. And one last thing, again, I showed you. I want to use the shaper. And again, same thing, nice and flush. So, okay guys, I'm pretty pleased with it. Again, this is shop furniture. It doesn't have to be the prettiest. It's functional and strong, which is what I care about. So, like always, guys, if you liked the video, hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Okay, guys, take care.